Hi class, this is lesson 11-2, areas of trapezoids, rhombuses, and kites. So first we're going to talk about trapezoids. The height of a trapezoid is the perpendicular distance between its bases. So right here we have our height, and this must be perpendicular to both of the bases. So theorem 11.4, area of a trapezoid, says the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 the product of the height and the sum, there's a key thing, sum of the lengths of the bases. So my area is 1/2 the height times my base 1 plus my base 2. So I add my bases, multiply by height, and then by 1/2. So example 1, find the area of the trapezoid on the right. Well, this is going to be my height because it's perpendicular to this. That's one of my bases, and that's my second base. So I'm going to say area equals 1/2 times my height, which is 4, times the sum of my bases, 7 plus 9. So area equals 1/2 of 4 is 2, and then multiply that by 7 plus 9, so 16. And we'll get 32, and my units will be feet squared. It's on your own one. You should pause it and try this one. Okay, you should have tried this one. It says find the area of the trapezoid below. We're not going to use these. Those aren't perpendicular to the bases, so this one has to be my height, and then these two would be my bases. So my area is 1/2. Again, it says find the area of the trapezoid round to the nearest tenth. We got to remember nearest tenth. So area equals 1/2 times my height, which is 8 square root of 2, times my sum of my bases of 16 plus 8. And if you put that into your calculator just like that, you should find that your area equals 135 8/10, and then my unit would be feet squared. So let's look at rhombuses and kites next. For rhombuses and kites, theorem 11.5, the area of a rhombus, it says the area of a rhombus is 1/2 the product of the lengths of its diagonals. So product means multiply the length of the diagonals. So area equals 1/2 d1 times d2. Theorem 11.6, the area of a kite, says the area of a kite is 1/2 the product of the lengths of its diagonals. So it's the same thing. So for a kite, my area is still 1/2 and d1 times d2. Let's look at the next page. So let's actually use those two formulas. It says find the area of the rhombus. So the first thing I'm going to do is write my formula down. Area equals 1/2 d1 times d2. There's my formula. And I know this side is 11. So this is 11. And the other half is also going to be 11 because it's a rhombus. And this is 8. That's pointing to it. And so this other side is also going to be 8. So one of my diagonals is 11 plus 11, that's 22, and the other diagonals is 8 plus 8, and that's 16. So my area equals 1/2 times one of my diagonals, 22, times my other diagonal, 16. And then if you put that in your calculator, 1/2 times 22 times 16, you'll get 176, and my units would be centimeters squared. So pause it and try example 3. Okay, example 3, find the area of kite, LMNO. So again, my formula is area equals 1/2 d1 times d2. Looking at my picture of my kite, well, here's one of my diagonals. I'll just say d1, doesn't really matter, d1 or d2. And that's 9 plus 15, so that's 14 for one of my diagonals. This half of the second diagonal is 4. And since it's a kite, this other side is also going to be the same. So my other diagonal is going to be 4 plus 4, which is 8. So my formula is area equals 1/2 times 14 times 8. And if you put that in your calculator and simplify, you'll get 56. There's no units given to us, so we're just going to say units squared. Pause it and try these next two. Okay, for these next two problems here, it says find the area of the rhombus. We're going to do area equals 1/2 d1 times d2. And if I know this side is 18, this is also 18. And if this is 12, down here is also 12. So I'm going to do area equals 1/2 d1. So this diagonal, 12 plus 12 is 24. And this other diagonal, 18 plus 18, that's going to be 36. It's going to be half times 24 times 36. So my area equals half times 24 times 36 is 432. My units are meters and then squared. The next one, find the area of the kite. So it's still going to be area equals half d1 times d2. And we got one of our diagonals here and one here. And that gives us the total, so we don't need to add them together at all. So area equals half times 13 times 24. And if you put that into your calculator and simplify, you should find the area equals 156 units squared. Next, we're going to find unknown measures. So looking at this next example here, it says, find unknown measures. Example 4, one diagonal of a kite is 2 times as long as the other diagonal. Okay, so we got a picture here. One of my diagonals, that's x, my other one is 2x. And that's what this is saying. One diagonal is 2 times as long as the other diagonal. Let's make an equation. One diagonal, so we'll say d1, means equals 2 times as long as the other one, d2. So we could write an equation like that. The area of the kite, area of a kite, so I know I'm going to use area equals half d1 times d2, with my area formula, is 56.25. So I know A equals 56.25 square inches. So I got inches here. That's my units. It's important. Here's the question. What are the lengths of the diagonals? So I need to find D1 and D2. Okay? So I have D's on the picture right here. It gives me X's. So this one's X, this one's 2X. So I could put X here and 2X here as well. So let's do that. We got X here and a 2X here. Let's plug all our information into our formula. We've got area is 56.25, so we'll put that in here. Equals half, and D1 is X, D2 is 2X. And then simplifying, we have 56.25 equals half times 2 is just 1. X times X is X squared. And then to get X alone, we're going to take the square root of both sides. So X equals positive or negative 7.5, but I know that it's just going to be the positive because we're talking about a distance, and X, well, that's my D1. So 7.5 inches is my D1. My D2, my second diagonal, is 2 times X, so it's going to be 2 times 7.5. So 2 times 7.5 would be 15, and my unit would be inches. So I found my 2 diagonals. On your own 4, it says one diagonal of a kite is 3 times as long as the other diagonal. So let's write that into an equation. One diagonal of a kite, so let's name that X, okay, is 3 times as long as the other diagonal. So is 3 times, well, let's use D1. One diagonal is 3 times as long as the other one, 3 times the length of D2. So if I draw my picture here, this looks like my longer one. Okay, so I've got 3 times D2 here, and then that would make this one just my D2. Or if we make it like the picture above, instead of saying D2, we could say 3 times X and then just a plain X. We could use our X's there as well. So here we could say X equals 3X. So let's write an equation here. Oh, I didn't finish reading my sentence though. It says the area of a kite is 73.5 square yards. So I know A equals 73.5 yards squared, and it says kite, so let's write our kite formula down. Area equals half of D1 times D2. Question, what are the lengths of the diagonals? We've got to figure out those lengths. So I can plug 73.5 in for my area. I've got half times D1 is X, and D2 is going to be 3x. So I've got 73.5 equals, well, half times 3 is 1.5. X times x is x squared. We got to solve this though, so let's divide by 1.5 to get that x alone. That's my goal here. 73.5 divided by 1.5, move it up here. That's 49 equals x squared. Take the square root of both, and x equals positive or negative 7. Again, we're talking about the distance though. We're not going to have a negative distance. So my D1, that's my x, that's going to be 7. And my D2, my second diagonal, is going to be 3 times 7, which is 21. Still need my units though. These are both in yards. So I got 7 yards as one of my diagonals and 21 yards as my other diagonal. On your own 3, so you should pause it and try this one on your own. Okay, it says you have a diagram of your backyard. Each square represents 3 meters by 3 meters square. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a picture. I got 3 here and 3 meters here. Find the area of your backyard. Okay, so each of these little squares is 1 by 1 on my picture. So I know once I get my answer, I'm going to have to multiply it by something, or I could do it even a little different than that. Since I know the height of each one's going to be 3, really, when I find my height here, here's my height, and just multiply it by 3. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, but 5 times 3 would be 15. Let's call that 15 to take into account that each square is 3 by 3. My top base up here, there's 1, 2, 3. 3 times 3, that's going to be 9. And these are all going to be in meters, so I'll put my M for meters. Down here at the bottom, if I count this, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 3 is going to be 21 meters. So I got all the lengths. Now I've got to think of my formula. And since this is a trapezoid, my formula is going to be area equals 1/2 my height times my base 1 plus my base 2. So my area is going to be 1/2 times my height, which is 15, times one of my bases, 9, plus my other base, 21. So area equals, if you do 1/2 times 15 times the quantity, 9 plus 21, you'll get 225, and then my units are meters squared. And that would be my final answer. All right, this is the end of the lesson. If you have any questions, make sure you ask me about it, and have a great night.